Okay, well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all this morning. And thank you very much today for inviting me to participate in this call today. As you can see from the invitation or for the announcement about today's call, we're talking about a very, very important subject, and it's certainly very relevant being at the beginning of 2020. The subject, of course, is what is it that people get wrong about goal setting so frequently? And what can I do to address that and make sure I don't fall into that trap? I have found over the course of my career, both in the field as a distributor and also in the corporate office, I have found many times as I've been working with people, the same problem that they face over and over again when it comes to setting and achieving goals. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you as some examples of typical goals that people might set in Nikken, especially with it being at the beginning of a year. Maybe this might even sound like some of your goals right now. This goal might be by December 31st, I'm going to have rank advanced to diamond. By December 31st, I'm going to have achieved Team Kaizen. By December 31st, I will have a check of $5,000 a month. Do those types of goals sound familiar to you? Well, the challenge is I've seen most people that I've worked with, as I've mentored and coached and supported and what have you, most people that I've supported in the goal setting process begin with that type of goal, but very, very quickly don't know where to go from there. And often that might be the instigator for them reaching out to be mentored. They say, okay, I've got my goal. I want to be a diamond by the end of the year, but I don't know how to get there. They don't know what to do next. And there's a reason for that. The reason is they've set the wrong goal. I want to talk about three types of goals and the best types of goals that we can set in order to maximize our influence and our ability to generate the right outcome. So the type of goal that I talked about at the beginning, where someone says, I want to be a diamond by December 31st. I want to be on Team Kaizen, for example, by December 31st. The challenge with that specific type of statement is that is what is called an outcome goal. An outcome goal focuses specifically on the result. Now, it's a good goal to have, but it's incomplete if that is all we have in our plan and our strategy to get there. And the reason for that is we're not in as much control of the outcome, even though it's an outcome-focused objective, as we might think. For example, and I'll use a non-Nikken specific example. Let's say my son turns around to me and says, as he has done, I want to be a vet when I have finished my studies. I want to become a vet. Well, that's an outcome goal, isn't it? It's result-focused. The challenge is he's not in control of every part of that process. He doesn't grade his own exams. He can sit the exams, but he doesn't grade them. He also doesn't interview himself or choose himself in an interview process in order to get the job as a vet. So there is some control that he has or some influence, but he doesn't have complete control. So what we want to do is recognize the other types of goals that we should establish to maximize our control and influence to ensure that we get that outcome that we're looking for. Now, again, I want to remind people of some of the great goals that we could be setting for 2020. Here are some examples of some great outcome-focused goals. And like I said, we don't have total control over these. We can influence them, but I want to make sure that we add to these goals some very relevant and specific other types of goals to make sure that we get them. So what are some great goals that we should have in building our business for 2020? If we're brand new, we should be including the Power Start. Club Kai is the second step. Club Kai Pro, which is a quarterly incentive, again, a great goal to help you work towards achieving your bigger goals. Team Kaizen, Team Taishi, and of course the lifestyle incentive or the lifestyle reward program. Each of these goals, there are 6 of them there, are detailed in the back office in Nikken. I would encourage everyone to go to the back office, go to My Nikken, click on the incentive program for 2020, and integrate these reward programs into your goals for this year. The benefit of this with each of these incentives is they help us to maximize our earning potential and our rewards for achieving the goals that we want to achieve. If you're brand new and you want to get to platinum by the end of the year, you want to get to gold by the end of the year, then using these goals, these incentive programs, will not only help you to measure your performance throughout the year, they'll also help you to get maximum return for your efforts. If you're an existing business builder, you're a platinum and you want to go diamond, or you're an existing gold and you want to go platinum, then these are great reward programs to help drive you forward and again, maximize the returns for your efforts. We all want to get the best out of what we're doing, and this incentive program for this year is a great way to do that. So pull them out. Like I said, they are specific, they're time measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, and they're time sensitive. So it's really, really important that we recognize the smart element of these goals, these incentive programs that we can use really, really well to get the best out of our business. Keep in mind as well that we shouldn't be setting these goals in a vacuum. We should be looking to others in our teams and encouraging them to do it with us. I know when I speak to my business builders in Mexico, for example, they promote the incentive program as the primary reason for people to join the business. They show them how they can earn free trips away, free rewards where they can have the chance to meet together with their friends, have a great shopping experience, go and have a great overseas trip, have a wonderful life experience or lifestyle experience, do it with some other friends, have a great time and celebrate, and they're building their business as well. And they use that as an incentive to recruit, attract, and build and show people why they should get started and what they should be doing. It's a great thing to consider. Use the incentive programs as a means for recruiting and building your team, not just achieving our own personal goals. Now, I want to go back to what I was saying before, because like I said, there are 3 types of goals. And the reason that many people struggle to achieve any goals is because they only focus on the first, which is an outcome goal, focused on the result, because they don't have total control of the process. They only have a clear vision of what the end looks like. So what are the other types of goals that we can incorporate into our plans to make sure that we're getting the best out of our goal setting and our goal-focused activity? The second type of goal that we want to look at, which is really important, and these all integrate together, by the way, is a process goal or a behavior goal. The first one is an outcome. The second one is a behavior. It's called a behavior goal because it helps us focus on the things that we need to do specifically in order to get the result. For example, if I'm wanting to lose weight as a goal, then a behavior or a process goal, rather than saying I will have lost 5 kilos in the next 3 months, as an example, might be something like I will reduce my calories to 1,000 or 1,500 calories a day, and I'm going to ride my bike for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. And I will drink an extra 3 glasses of water a day to be well hydrated. Those are some examples of some behavior specific goals. How does that apply to my Nikken business? Let's say my outcome goal is I want to be on Team Kaizen by the end of the year, or I want to have reached the rank of a platinum or the next rank in the compensation plan from where I am presently. That's an outcome goal. What would be my behavior or my process goals? My process goals would be, I'm going to add at least 3 names a day to my contact list. I'm going to do at least 3 presentations a week, and I'm going to make sure that I sign up at least 1 person a month, as an example. Now, if I'm wanting to achieve Team Kaizen, or if I'm wanting to get to the next rank advancement, I would suggest 1 person a month is not sufficient. I use that as an example, of course, for identifying the process, the behaviors. What am I doing? Now, this leads me to the next goal. So we've got the specific activities. I'm going to add a specific number of people to my list. I'm going to do a certain amount of presentations. I would include in this, as a reminder to everyone, I'm going to do a certain amount of ABCs in the process of signing new people up and training people and getting people started in the business. I want to emphasize that as a side note really quickly, because this is one thing that whenever I speak to people in this mentoring and coaching process, almost without exception, they will always say to me, I need to do more ABCs. I recognize this is what my goal is. I know in order to achieve that, I know I need to do more ABCs. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I hear the reason being, I've not done as many in the past because I don't want to be an inconvenience or a burden on my upline or on the person that I would like to help me with the ABC. Please know that is never the case, because at the same time, almost in equal measure, I get this type of comment from other leaders in my organization and in my crossline that say something to this effect. I wish my team would use me more for ABCs. I don't get used enough for ABCs. So we've got this wonderful dichotomy of the field saying, I need to use my upline and crossline more for ABCs. And I've got the upline and the crossline going, I wish they'd use me more for ABCs. So please know that you would not be an inconvenience. You would not be a burden on anyone in extending the invitation to help out. Please do it. It is a critical component of any process or behavioral goal that you want to make sure you achieve well. We need to integrate ABCs into the mix. It is one of the unique advantages that you have in running your own business to have successful, highly accomplished experts that have got more experience help you out in order to see you win and succeed. What a gift that is, that you can have in Ecamm, and yet it is a gift that is underutilized time and time again. Let's not underutilize that gift. Let's not squander that privilege. So we've got our outcome goals. They're focused on the end result. I want to be in Team Kaizen. I want to be at the next level of rank advancement. I want to have a certain level of income by the end of the year. Then we feed into that the behavioral goals. The behavioral goals are the specifics of what I will do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Let me say that again. The behavioral goals tie into the outcome goals, and they specify what I will do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis in order to get my outcome goal achieved. Okay, so we want to be specific in that. It is a daily, weekly, monthly behavior that I will demonstrate, engage in order to see my outcome goals achieved. This is one of the key points that most people struggle with in goal setting and in goal-related activity. They know what they want to achieve, but they don't know the behaviors to engage in order to get there. Critically, once they start to understand the daily, weekly, monthly behaviors, they don't understand the third type of goal. The third type of goal, which is again integrated into the others, is a standards goal, a performance-related goal. What a standards goal is it identifies specifically not just the results, not just the process, but my core values of what I expect to achieve as a result of my efforts. So it's not simply saying I'm going to have a certain amount of calls that I will make in a given day. It's saying I expect to convert this percentage of my calls into purchasing customers. You see the difference? See the power that starts to come together now as we have an outcome goal, a behavior goal, and now a standards goal. Now the standards goal is a little trickier than the others because it requires a little more of us in order to set it effectively. An outcome goal is straightforward. It's based on our desire, our ambition, our why, our purpose, our meaning. And all of that is this, it's our heart. And we can strive with great diligence to expand that emotion, that feeling, and to run with passion and with purpose. And that's what attracts a lot of people into the business. It's what keeps people going a lot, because they've got this cause, this reason for being that connects them with NECAM. And that's great. The behavioral goal is quite straightforward to some degree, because it's an immediate manifestation of that passion and feeling. I've got all of this commitment and devotion and belief, therefore I'm going to do. The challenge with the performance goal, the standards goal, is it now links into the head a little bit more. It requires a little bit more cognitive focus, because what it's doing is it's starting to analyze previous behavior and interpret how it should be reflected in present behavior in regards to outcomes. Okay, so for example, it's easy to say, I'm going to do X number of calls in a day, or X number of presentations. I'm going to attend these events that are in the calendar, and I'm going to participate and invite all of my friends to come along and be a part of that. I'm going to spread the word. I'm going to do my marketing activity and my promotions, and I'm going to really run. It's easy to set that type of a goal. But to be realistic in our performance goals, our standards goals, we need to be able to analyze and reflect on, over the last 6 months, for example, as I look at my activity in reaching out and talking to people, what has been my conversion rate? From adding people to my list to extending invitations. For those that I've invited, of all of the invitations that I gave over the last month, how many of them said yes to hearing a presentation? And from those that turned up to a presentation, how many said yes to joining? And for those that joined and got engaged, how many actually did something? And then what percentage of people did the right things? Now we know, and we use this number a lot in NECAM, this law of thirds, that applies for most people in the business. But it's important for each of us to be able to understand our own numbers, our own results. And the reason that this is important is when we know in that line of process and activity what my numbers are, if there is an anomaly, if all of a sudden I'm doing all the presentations, I'm doing all the invitations, but no one is joining, then I know that there is something fundamentally flawed in my presentation skills. We know where in that line of activity I need to focus my attention and my effort to create change. When I don't have that measurement, all I see is something isn't working. I'm trying, I've got my goal to become and to get onto Team Kaizen. I've got my goal to become a diamond, for example, and I'm working and I'm trying really hard. So I've got my behavioral stuff, which may be ambiguous for some, but I'm not getting the result. I'm not getting a standard that is measurable in a meaningful way and delivering me the right outcome. If I don't have those last two goals specific and clear, then I'm going to struggle to understand why I'm not progressing, what I'm doing wrong, and I won't know what to fix. That can lead to great frustration, can't it? So my invitation to everyone today is to take some time to reflect on what are my real goals for 2020. What do I really want to achieve by December 31st? It's wise, of course, with that being measured only once, to be able to work backwards in the line of command, so to speak, in the hierarchy of behavior, to work backwards through what you're doing and have some smaller bite-sized chunks of activity that are measurable, that you can identify and say, at the end of January, I'm going to be at this point of my Team Kaizen achievement. By the end of February, I'm going to be at this level. By the end of March, I'm going to be at this level. And work it into monthly bite-sized measurable targets so that by the end of December, voila, you've got your goal achieved and you're on track. Because of course, if you miss a month, if things don't go according to plan, if something interferes, then you've got time to adjust and to reflect and to change your activities. So again, my invitation is threefold. Look at these three types of goals. Most people focus on the first, and that's why they fall short. They focus on the outcome only, don't know how to get there. They say, I want to be at this point by December 31st, but they don't have clear, measurable plans to help them to achieve that goal. Integrate into that outcome goal the second layer. The second layer to the goals are your behavioral goals. As you do that and get specific, you can integrate the third layer, which is your standards. What outcomes do I expect to achieve as a result of this behavior? What are my conversion rates? How many people, if I'm going to speak to 10 people and invite them, how many people do I expect will respond positively to my invitations? From the presentations and the ABCs that I do with my upline or my crossline or my business partners, of the ABCs that I do, what conversion rate should I see in my presentations? And by the way, every time I do ABCs, I've measured, it's on average, it's around 90% conversion rate for people that have an ABC that get in and join the business. Utilize the power of the ABC because it works. We get results time and time again. Utilize that, strengthen your numbers by utilizing people of strength and influence within your circle. Use us, put us to good use, get us busy, make us earn our check. That's what we want to do. So put that to good use, because knowing that will be a big influence. So have your clear, defined outcome goal, have the specific right behaviors that are daily, weekly, monthly, integrated into your plans. Include in that, as a side note, the power of ABCs, and then integrate the third and final layer, which is your standards goal. What are my conversion rates for my behavior to make sure that I get on track and achieve my outcome? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to promise you, if you integrate these three layers of goals, outcomes, behaviors, standards, if you integrate these three into your goals and incorporate the power and influence of strong, credible ABCs, other people in your team to work with you and support you, you will get significantly improved results. If you want improved results, if you don't want your goal just to be a fanciful wish that makes you feel good now, but makes you feel guilty later because you're not on track for achieving it. I don't want you to feel good now and guilty later. I want you to feel good now and focused later. I want you to feel good now and empowered throughout the course of the year. And if you want to be empowered, and if you want to know what you're in control of, what you can influence, if you really want to make a difference and be able to evaluate and course correct, and I promise you, every goal set in January will need course correction and redirection throughout the course of a year in order to get the result. Every goal. So don't be embarrassed about that when it happens. Don't be disappointed when that occurs. Be assured that it is normal, it is natural, it's part of the process. If you're not course correcting, you either nailed it remarkably well in the first instance, in a rare strike of genius, or you're not really applying yourself to the goal and you're pretending. It's one of those two things. But most people will need to course correct and make adjustments, because we need to, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, evaluate what we're doing, look at the conversion rates, make adjustments, increase the behavior, improve the skill, make an adjustment, or whatever it might be in order to achieve our goals. But those three layers of activity will make a significant difference for you in achieving your goals for 2020 more than anything else. So I hope this has been of help. Please put it to good use. And again, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me separately or to anyone else in your upline or crossline in order to get the most support you can in achieving your goals, because we want to make sure that you win and get the very best out of your Unique business. Thank you very much. Put this to great use, and I look forward to seeing everyone achieve their goals by December 31st of 2020. Take care, everyone, and have a great week. Bye-bye.